This month we've been working on inspiration. Inspiration all around us. You all have been paying attention, I know, since last week, looking at the world. So how many of you would say that you have been inspired by your mom? Almost every hand. Some weighing it out a little bit. I know you have been. That's part of the mother's job. I know that at some point in our world we are inspired, we are lifted up because of something that the mother would say or do with us. Remember, inspiring is to breathe life into. So a mother has that very special touch that enables her to breathe life into the child. It's the unconditional love that flows to support who they are. Got it? And even if you feel the human nature of your mother, underneath that is that unconditional love. It's there, it's tangible, it's real. I know you chose the perfect mom for you. I chose the perfect mom for me. I picked a mom who loves God as much as I do. We are so unlike in so many other ways. But the current, that underlying current of spiritual freedom, of being able to talk to God and to have a personal relationship was what fed me from birth. And it's what I needed for this life. And I know that's true of all relationships and all moms. There's always something that is a building block within us, that without that we would not be who we are today. So, when you look at a mother's love, some people say it's blind. Have you ever been told that your mother's love was blind? Especially by the father or the stepfather of the child? You are not seeing clearly in this moment. Fathers look at things differently. But the mother's love is never blind. She sees, but she has that knowing of connection with the child. So, when I was a little girl, I was probably in kindergarten. I couldn't have been older than kindergarten because we lived in Denver at the time, and I moved when I was in kindergarten. So my mom had a book of Bible stories. And there was one story that was my favorite, and I believe it was my siblings' favorite as well, because we always tried to get my mom to read it to us. I'm going to share it with you. Yeah, there's a lot of stories of mother's love in the Bible, but this was just an interesting one because it's in the Old Testament. And this is in 1 Kings. And most of you have heard it, but let me give you the backstory. Solomon is king, and he's the biggest, wisest, most richest king ever. Most richest king ever. That's what he is. And so he would hold court when the people below him could not figure out the answer to problems. And it's chronicled in 1 Kings chapter 3, where 2 prostitutes were brought before him. Now, both of these women lived together in the same house, and both of them had given birth to babies within weeks of one another. And the issue arose in that they slept with the baby during that time. The baby would sleep in their bed. And one of the mothers had rolled over, and her child had died. And she put the child aside and went and took the other mother's child and laid it in her bed. So when the one woman woke up, her child was gone. And she found it in the arms of the other mother. So we have this argument going on. And these 2 women are brought before Solomon, and one woman says, that's my child, and the other woman says, that's my child, and one woman says, that's my child. And this goes on for 3 different little verses. I mean, they're really duking it out here in the Bible. And so Solomon looks at them, and he says, bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And then the king said, divide the living child in 2, and give half to the one and half to the other. And then the woman whose child was alive said to the king, because her affection yearned for her son, I beseech you, O my lord, give her the child alive, and in no wise slay it. But the other one said, let it neither be mine nor yours, and let it be divided. Then the king said, give the child alive to the first woman, and in no wise slay it, she is the mother. The one who sought for the life of the child, even though it would no longer be hers. The one who said, do not hurt my child. It's a beautiful, beautiful example of the depth that a mother's love runs. Could you feel it in the story? When I read that, I could feel, as a mom now, older, I could feel absolutely there's no choice. There's absolutely no choice in that moment. When the outer circumstances are so dire that it affects the life and the thriving of your own child, you would do anything to ensure its safety. And I wondered about that, and I thought, I wonder if that isn't the case with many adopted babies. That isn't that their mother doesn't love them, but their mother loves them so much that they do not have the situation to take care of them. They don't have the environment. The environment might be hostile to the child or not let it thrive, but that they love it so much they offer it to another space where it can be cared for. The depth of a mother's love is always about life. It's always about the continuation and the thriving of life. And I don't know why, as a little kid, that was my favorite, but that was my favorite. Go mom, Do what it takes. Just love that mom. I heard many years ago from a speaker that our country's constitution is mimicking somewhat the Iroquois nation. That when we were setting up our country, we looked at the tribes that had come together to be a united front, and we looked at how they had been organized. And the one thing that they did that we do not do is they included women as equals. The women had their own council fires. Women actually nominated the chiefs for validation. They ratified chiefs when they were validated. They had a very important role in the government of the nation. And the speaker that was sharing this said that it was done this way because they knew that the women would always pick something that perpetuated life. They would always select the energy that would continue life. And the seasoned women, the elder women, the holy women held great power. And what they said was very esteemed because they knew they had within them the consciousness of perpetuating the life of the tribe and of the nation. And that is the energy of all females. We all hold within us this mother energy. We all hold within us this desire to live, to perpetuate life. In our human relationships today, we can sometimes see that reflected when a man and a woman who are in a relationship are up against an issue, and the woman might say, okay, honey, let's just breathe. And the man's going, no, hold me back. I got to get after this. So guys are not smiling in this moment. But typically, the female will go to the more peaceful situation. And the male will take a few minutes to be held back, breathe, and then come into agreement that maybe there's a calmer way that we can handle this. That's the gift of that beautiful love. That's the gift of the life-sustaining energy of the mother. Men, smile. Fake laugh if you have to. It's true. All right, so we've been talking about inspiration in the world around us. And I'm really aware of that. I really want to be inspired in the world around us. So I want to share a little personal story that happened this week. You may not know this, but Patrick and David are really into football. Surprise? Okay. And I have been trying the last few years to really, because I go by, I'm watching it with them. Oh, that was really good. Who's that little baby over there? Oh, somebody hurt him. And so I'm trying to participate. And they have taught me well that if someone gets hurt, it's okay. So I have taken an interest, especially in college football. I don't know, we're kind of more into that. So I've taken an interest in that and watched with Patrick in particular this year and talked with David, and David keeps me informed of the stats and stuff. And so the draft was coming up. And so it's like, these are all the boys I've been watching. It's their graduation day. Of course aren't we going to watch the draft? Patrick's out of town. So I called up David. I said, David, hey, you want to come over and watch the draft with me? He goes, no, thanks. Call me. I called another friend and said, draft? Busy, can't come. Okay, so I'm all alone Thursday night, 8 o'clock. I'm going to watch the draft. So I turned it on. I could only do the first 2.5 hours. But I had to go to bed after that. But it was a great spiritual experience. There was so much praying going on, you would not believe how much prayer was going on. And I mean, these were sincere hearts. They were praying with everything they had for the right and perfect thing, for the right. And they were surrounded by their family and friends. And these children are what, I'm going to use the phrase monster, but I use it lovingly. These are monster bodies. They are huge. They're huge. And every one of them that got picked, they're crying, and the camera turns on them and they're hugging this little bitty lady. And it's their mama. And they come out and they're humble, they're thanking God. And of course it was near Mother's Day, so the little interview lady was prompting them, how do you feel about your mom? And they were all thanking their mom, did this for them and did that for them. And just overwhelming. And in my mind, I thought, this doesn't make sense. We think the seed of the tomato grows a tomato seed, right? I'm thinking there must be monster men out there that grow these monster men. But it's not so. Those men who grow to be these huge specimens of athletic prowess, I guess, are sustained by little women. Little women who love them unconditionally and who have worked for them to arrive at this moment. And I was just overwhelmed by the love that they shared for their moms, too. And one of the interviewers mentioned to one young man, and I don't remember his name, there were so many of them coming back and forth. She said to him, your mom tells a story about when you were 4 years old, and you were out in the backyard with your football. And she said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm practicing for Sundays. And here he stood, picked up by a team, and he was going to be playing Sundays. The fruition of a dream that his mother was aware of since he was 4 years old. I know that 4-year-old forgot that moment that fast. He probably forgot he ever said it. He probably forgot. He was just doing what he did. But his mom didn't. And she held that idea of that little boy probably wondering all those years if he would make it, if he would make it to the Sunday game. And then he's there on the precipice of the fulfillment of his dream. He had been picked to play on Sundays. The depth of the love, you have no idea how deeply that mother love goes to fuel your life. And it isn't just your mom. Those of us that have relationships with children, you know what I'm talking about. But you know what? We have a lot of moms. We have a lot of moms in our world. We have people that show up at the oddest time to be that unconditional love that comes to us. We have the opportunities to stand forth and be that love for somebody. And women, we have it naturally. It's a natural thing. We cannot help it. Men also have this ability to mother. There's a switch inside. It's an optional switch. It isn't automatic. But they have it in there. And if they choose to, they can flip on the mother. And they can go and be just as nurturing and as loving and as kind. And give of that energy. We need it to thrive. We need it to thrive. I was counseling one young man. He was a client. And he was just going out in the world, taking on responsibility. And it's hard. And he said, sometimes I just wish I could go home. I just wish I could set it all aside and just go home. Because if I'm home, I'm loved. And he knew there was a place, always, that he could go. A place where he would be loved. And the door was always open. And isn't that the energy that we feel when we think of God's love? That beautiful, nurturing energy of God, that place that is always open for us. Every time someone loves you as a mother, every time someone holds your hand as a mother, they're reflecting that beautiful love that God has for us. They're expressing that nurturing mother love that God has for each one of us. Because ultimately, have we not had a lot of mothers in many different incarnations? Did we not pick the perfect one for this one to teach us something? And are we not being mothered in our world around us by many other mothers? I've mothered many people. When I first started in the ministry, I was 35 when I was ordained, and I had children that were 50 and 60. And they called me Mom because I had that energy. And I brought them in. David shared me with a lot of people over the years. We call to mother, and mothers come to us. But every time it is an expression of the beautiful love of God saying to you, live, live, live your dream. Here's some fuel. Be who you need to be. Live your dream. I got you back. You need some more energy? I got energy for you. I'll inspire you. I'll breathe the breath of love into you. Live your dream. Do you see? You know, as humans, we have this energy, and with our natal mothers, with our mothers who raised us, you know, things change. They get older. We typically begin to mother them, don't we? When they get a little more seasoned. But it's a beautiful opportunity for us to close the circle. You know? Can you feel that love of God? All right. The love of the mother totally sustains, totally wants life, and wants you to thrive. When you see the love of a father or a mother, a parent, looking at their child, look into those eyes and you'll see a reflection of the energy of God. Do you know what I'm talking about? And every single one of us in this moment now can breathe and feel the love that brought us here, the mother that brought us, the love that sustained us while we were here, and the love that continues to guide us. And in that is the beautiful mother energy. I wanted to share, in 1997, one of our ministers, Susan Coffey, she was one of our first ordained. She and Nan were ordained in 96. You'll hear me speak of her. She's also a friend. She wrote something for our newsletter and put it in. It was Mother's Day for our main newsletter. And so went out, didn't think twice about it. So I got a call from my mom. My mother, who does not call me about complimenting me. She will call Patrick every month and compliment his point. But she doesn't call me. It's just not her stuff. She called me. And she said, "Oh, Cindy, thank you so much." I said, "Oh, what did I do?" And she said, "No, what you wrote about me." And I went, "Okay." And she said, "No, it was beautiful. Thank you so much." And I went, "Oh, what are you give me a minute." Grabbed the newsletter and I went through it, and Susan hadn't signed her name. And I said, got back on the phone, I said, "Mom, I didn't write it. Susan wrote it. But I believe it and I mean it." I could have written it. But Susan wrote that. And I wanted to read it to you now. This is a beautiful letter, and it just says, "Dear Mom, I would first like to thank you for being the special vehicle that brought me forth on planet Earth. What a gift to let me share your body. I certainly honor that bond that will always be between us. Do you know that I chose you to be my mother? Out of all the beautiful beings on earth, I know you would give me the perfect environment I needed to grow and learn the lessons I wanted to experience this time around. You are perfect because you are you. Our relationship has been wonderfully supportive of my journey. My childhood was exactly what I needed it to be. Thank you for the feeding, cleaning, wiping, hugging, discipline, structure, guidance, support, and love. Now that I am an adult, our relationship has shifted to another level. I see you as a child of God and my spiritual sister. Your light shines so bright, and I am so happy to know a deeper connection with you. Your generous, loving spirit gives Mother Earth. So I honor you as my mom and a powerful spiritual being. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day."
Very nice. I can see your mother though.
Yeah. Sometimes we think that mothers want to be honored for what they have given to you. But this little letter, this open letter to moms, really represent that moms want to be honored for who they are. not what you gave me, but the gift I have gotten by being able to walk with you. That you are God's child. I am God's child. You are my sister. You are my friend. And we have done this journey together. High five. You know? High five. No due to, no due from. You didn't give me enough this, I gave you more. No. We did what we needed to do. So as we go about this day, and you know, Mother's Day is going to be up. You're going to be talking to people. It's going to be Mother's Day. I want you to honor the mothers in your world, those that were birthed and those that have gifted you for themselves. Thank you for being you. Thank you for walking the path God asked you to walk, because as a result of that, it blessed me tremendously. Can you see that? How do you feel? Moms, how do you feel? Guys, how do you feel?
Great. Good.
Good. All right, well, let's go with that. God, our Father, our Mother, we ask that your love just totally enfold each one of us now. We ask that your love fill this room and that we be blessed to the core of our being. And I would invite each of you to see a beautiful column of light come over you, just to create a sacred space for you, your sacred space. And I want you to just feel the hand of Jesus Christ taking your hand and lift up just a little bit, lifting up into a beautiful cloud, beautiful radiant light. And we're going to call forth your birth mom, your mom, the one who raised you. We're going to call her forth. And I want you to see her standing in front of you. Just send your love. Mom, I honor you for all that you are. And I thank you for all that you have given. I see you as God's child. Feel the love flowing from you. Whether it comes back or not doesn't matter. And now call forth the other mothers in your world. There may be just a couple. You may be thronged with people. Everyone else who has mothered or is mothering me now. And send your love. I honor who you are. I thank you so much for the light and the love you share with me. And I know that if you were not who you are, it would not happen. So thank you. Take my love. Thank you. Let your love flow. Breathe and relax. And now call forth, everybody call forth the people you are currently mothering. Guys, you got them too. Let's call them forth. And send your love. Thank you for letting me be me. Thank you for letting me share my love in a way that makes me happy. And send your love to these beings. Breathe it in. And let's let them go. Just let them go. And I want you to take your focus back to Jesus Christ by your side and feel his hand in yours. Father, Mother God, let your focus go to Father, Mother God, and feel the mother energy, that beautiful, loving, life-sustaining energy of God pouring through you. God, thank you for keeping me on my path. Thank you for feeding me. Thank you for letting me make mistakes. Thank you for letting me learn and grow. Thank you for always loving me. And let that beautiful love fill every cell of your body. And feel a gentle, gentle word. I am always here. always love you. Feel the fullness, take a breath, feel the Christ by your side, and very gently come back into this moment. Feel your chair, let your focus come back. Feel the Christ by your side. Look at him, the man who learned to balance heaven on earth. Feel the love and see the beautiful balance of the male and the female within him. Breathe. Feel his energy stimulating your heart. Let the vision go. Send your love into the room. Today I will honor the nurturing love of the mother within me and all about me. Thank you, God. And so, take a breath and send your love into the room. How do you feel? Happy Mother's Day.